Hey everybody, hope you're doing good this morning. What a better time to start talking about forage, harvesting, and hay. Here it is Wednesday, April 29th when I'm making this particular video. And it's supposed to be in the mid-70s today. Minimal wind, so I'm hoping to get some of these videos done this morning and maybe go out this afternoon and get some work done and enjoy the weather. But it is appropriate because this warm weather, with the moisture that we had here in Casper a week to 10 days ago, we should see the grass and the hay really start to pop today, and over the next week we really should start seeing how our summer is going to look as far as hay production goes. Okay, so when we look at economic importance of hay, and I break it down just for Wyoming, in 2017, and I'll show you in a second why I'm highlighting 2017. Some of you might know already, but in 2017 we had almost 2.5 million tons of hay produced in Wyoming. Now Wyoming's a desert, right? And it seems rare that we're going to have a crop like that produced, especially one that has a value of over $330 million. Now, if we compare that to some other years, in 1999 was a record year for total production. Okay, we had over that 2.5 million tons. We had 2.79, and the reason was 1999 was extremely wet. In fact, maybe the wettest year ever on record. Now, 2012 was a record year for income. We had almost $400 million that year. 2012 wasn't particularly wet, so of course what happens to our hay prices is it goes up. Hey, pardon my phone going off, but since we were talking economics right there, it was very appropriate that that was actually Mr. Reagan calling to talk about some other stuff we've been working on. So anyway, back to hay and economics, we see that 2012 was a record year for price, and 2012 wasn't particularly wet, but the price of hay went up. All right, and so 2017, when we look at why we produce so much hay, it was the wettest spring that we've ever had in Wyoming. The January through April was the wettest on record. And so if we look at an actual map of what January through December of 2017, this is the entire calendar year of 2017, these dark blues indicate that we are at 200% of normal of precipitation. And not only are we extremely wet in 2017, but it was the geographic location. And so if we look at these places where we saw this rain, right here where I'm drawing the circle in Fremont County is a major hay producing part of the county. In fact, this dark blue right here, Vinny, you might recognize that geographic location. In fact, Vinny, I'm guessing you bought a new pair of hip boots, waders, and maybe a canoe just so you could get from the house to the mailbox in 2017. And so we also see that we had very good moisture in places like the Bighorn Basin, where we put a lot of hay up. And down here in southeast Wyoming in that Torrington-Lingle country, we had great moisture, and we put up a lot of hay. That's why 2017 was such a big year for hay. Well, where are we at this year? What is the hay year in 2019 going to look at? So let's see what our map shows for us up to this point. There we go. Okay, so what about 2019 and 2020? Well, here's what our precip looks like from April a year ago to just here a few weeks ago to the end of March. And so we can see that the state has shifted. Now we see that the western side of the state and part of the south, okay, or basically west of that continental divide, is at normal. Very few places that are below normal, except over here in Sublette County. But we see up here in northeast Wyoming, we see a lot of moisture up here. But look right here in that same hay producing part of Fremont County, we have a lot of moisture. Same thing up here in the basin, and especially right down here in southern Goshen County, we see that there has been some moisture. Now, I will tell you this is more just my informal weather keeping here in the last few weeks. It has gotten dry and warmer ahead of schedule this year. Looking at the weather for the next 10 days, we're looking at it's hot, meaning 70, mid-70s like I said earlier. It's dry, no real big rain or storms or snow in the forecast, and windy. And so we know that the wind is just going to suck that moisture right out of the ground. So hopefully we still get some moisture coming on this spring. And I know I hate to say it, even a snow at this time of the year is a good thing. It gives us moisture. And of course it melts slow, and most of that moisture then goes right into the soil.